Football was my safety net, really. Getting up and going training and playing, it was giving me something that I needed at the time because my personal life was a mess. I was not seeing this baby grow up that I was doting on. My relationship had broken down and there was no real going back to that. And then I got to a point where I just thought, there's nothing in my life really. There's nothing I'm striving to do. You know, I might as well just give up on it all and be easier if there was no. I didn't have the hassle. I didn't have the hassle of it all, and didn't have all them problems.
I came from a mining family. My father was a miner. It was either going down the pits or being a footballer. Sunderland had turned me down because I was too small, and then Sunderland came back again, but I'd promised to come down to Liverpool. I think certainly the army stood me in good stead. At the end of the day, I must take a lot of the credit. We won the championship in 46-7. We had a good side and everything went so well. I can't remember any real one selfish one coming in and trying to rule the roost. The club's always been bigger than the individual. Bill decided to retire. I never applied for the job. It came at us just overnight, and I thought, well, I'd better give it a go. Football is about winning. You've got to entertain too, but it's about winning. I've been particularly lucky in my profession. I certainly wouldn't be big-headed. That's why I try to be modest about the whole thing. There's lots of people earned more than me at this game, but there's nobody enjoyed it as much. I've come to love the Liverpool people. Had I had to do it all over again, I'd do just the same. You'll never walk alone.
Had to write their own history and stories, so they were ready not to compare us anymore too much with all these great figures. This title is as well a sign for the future. There's some football you are looking forward to, and some atmospheres you are looking forward to, and we need that in this moment in time as well. And I'm really happy for our people.
1,149 league games, 239 players, 9 managers, and 30 years later, finally, we get to say this once again. Liverpool Football Club are champions of England. Welcome to a very special show, plenty to enjoy over the course of the next hour, and to revel in it all, I'm joined by the former Red, Jason McAteer. Jason, it is a special day to be here. Let us remind ourselves of the league table on this very special occasion. The Reds sit top of the pile and cannot be caught. 23 points clear with 21 points left to play for. It is a very pretty sight. What are your reactions now, your thoughts now the job is done? You've had a little bit of time to reflect on it all, to take it in. The emotions that were raw last night have subsided a bit, but how do you look upon that?
It's obviously an amazing achievement, and I think we all deep down knew it was a matter of when it was going to happen, not if. You know, they put themselves in such a commanding lead. We were so happy, you know, at one point that we were really worried that the Premier League was actually going to restart after the break. Anyway, obviously they've done wonders getting it back on, and you know, we've rightfully got the opportunity to turn champions. And you know, it was a sluggish start from Everton, but then they found their gear against Crystal Palace, and you know, what an hour performance it was. running out 4-0 winners was tremendous. And then obviously we went to the Chelsea game against Manchester City, and I've got to be honest, I wasn't really too interested, but then all of a sudden, my eldest son was glued to his phone. He just said to me, Chelsea have gone 1-0 up, and I actually felt sick, and I thought, oh, here we go, we've got a chance now. And that's when I become really interested last night. And then at the final whistle, I was actually doing some TV with Richard Keys, funny enough, and you know, he's a great broadcaster. He brought out all the emotion for me on the final whistle, and you know, there was tears, and just the enormity of what had just happened was brilliant. And then obviously today has been a day of reflection, and it's been great watching all the stuff back that the channel's been showing.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, we've done this job for a while.
Yeah.
We've had 2 near misses come the final day of the season where it could have happened. It's not quite happened. I don't think many fans would have envisaged the team getting over the line in this manner, because it was funny last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was the same as you. It wasn't until Chelsea scored, then all of a sudden the adrenaline kicked in, the nerves kind of kicked in, all of a sudden it became real. Yeah,
and there was a tinge of disappointment for me, in the sense of, I mean, we've been together for so much. I mean, my memories of Madrid is what we shared. You know, we were together when Divock scored. I was with Peter McDowell, and we got in position and we shared a moment, didn't we? There was tears and the emotion, but being together is part of the football, and it's been so hard for the fans, and Jürgen has touched on that beautifully over the last few days. He's known it's been coming, and he's been preparing the fans, and I think rightly so, because, you know, we still want to enjoy it in our own way, but deep down we really wanted to be together to enjoy it, and it just can't be. But we will be, you know, in a few weeks' time, a few months' time, whenever it is. You know, I'm sure we'll have a big party and we'll celebrate then.
I was going to say, in some ways though, can we turn a kind of negative into a positive and say, well, the enjoyment's going to be stretched out now, because this initial kind of like, this is great and everything, but then we're going to get to eke it out day after day until we get to that point when there'll be a parade or a celebration. We've also got the trophy lift to come at some point as well, so we'll kind of maximise the enjoyment.
We're kind of bathing in the glory for a bit longer. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but the lads have still got a job to do. You know, Jürgen, you know, I'm so happy, because last night when I got asked the question, you know, how will the players be feeling, and no one knew what the situation was with the players. It was kept under wraps. They were in the hotel, but no one knew that. I actually thought they were all at home, and you know, I didn't even envisage it was going to be like a Leicester where they were all together in one house. But then obviously social broke the news that they were all together, and that's fine. They were in a controlled environment. They're all getting tested, so they were fine to do that. And then it was right that they celebrate together in that way, because that's what brings the psychology of sport. That's what toughens them up. That's what strengthens them to go again. That feeling they had last night will stay with them. That'll drive them to do it again and again and again, just like the Champions League final, just like the defeat in the Champions League final, the defeat in the Europa League. And you mentioned it before, I'd even forgotten. We've lost the League Cup final to City all them years ago. But that builds a player's mentality and a psychology, and that's all part of what's happened and where we are today.
Yeah, you cannot replicate that feeling, that moment of victory. OK, it's been a history-making season so far, and more records could still tumble before the games are finished. Here, though, is a recap of the journey to this point and to the Reds clinching the title.
Well, here we go again, the start of another Premier League season.
Here we go again, we're certainly looking forward to it. And just let's hope, fingers crossed, we can go maybe one better than what we did last season.
The Premier League season 2019 to 2020 is underway for Liverpool. There's a long road ahead. Oh, there it is, Virgil van Dijk opening night. How about that? Bang! Salah, brilliant. And Salah still going. Oh, yes! It's absolutely brilliant. Oh, brilliant, Salah! Oh! Alexander-Arnold! Absolutely emphatic! Broken through for Sadio Mane! Dominic Lallana! Robertson! Fabinho with the strike! Oh my word! What a hit! You can't even put it into words how good that was. They've now beaten absolutely everyone in the Premier League this season. Liverpool increase the lead again. 25 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
There were times when we didn't know exactly if we will play again, or rumours about nil and void. And now we stand here and we can go for our massively big target again.
Alexander-Arnold's take. Oh, the header was down by João Matip. It's ended honours even. Liverpool looking to take another major step.
Takes perfectly. Oh, here's Salah to get the second and the 100 on.
Fabinho. Oh! Slick from Liverpool. Special from Liverpool.
I'm really happy for our people.
What a season it's been. OK, let's head over to Anfield now, where Peter McDowell is alongside a familiar face, a man who came off the bench the night Liverpool last clinched the title.
Thanks, Mark. Welcome to Anfield on a balmy Friday evening. There's quite a lot of people, as you can imagine, still nursing hangovers from last night who will probably go again tonight. And thought it was quite poignant that we asked Gary Gillespie to come down here, because since the very infancy of LFCTV, he's endured some of the frustrations, Gary. And you kind of lay in context there some of the big moments of the season. You can't help but look back and think that we've all deserved this, haven't we, this moment we're in now?
Well, absolutely. I go before that as well, when I was working for Radio Merseyside for about 4 or 5 years. So I've watched the good, the bad, the indifferent. So this is the icing on the cake, and thoroughly deserved, you have to say. It's been a magnificent performance, not just this season, but really since Jurgen Klopp has come into the football club. It's been a big transformation. And when you look about how close we came last season with just that one defeat and just getting pipped by Manchester City, I don't think anybody could have predicted the way that we started this season and the amount of points that we've actually won the league by. So it's an incredible achievement from an incredible team and an incredible manager.
You've never been a big advocate of stats, and when I throw them at you, often you kind of throw it back. But when you look at that very stat, the fact that they've done it faster than anybody's ever done it before, quicker, clean sheets, the amount of goals, was it 3 seasons in succession they've scored 100? It's just staggering how good this team is.
Well, this is a team that is going to break records and have broken records, and we talk about it often. That I don't think Jurgen is really interested in breaking records. What he wants to do is he wants to win Premier League titles, he wants to win European championships, and that's what it's about. It's not all about breaking records, but along the way, I just think that this team are that good that that's what's going to happen. And as they've done in the past, record after record after record has fallen, and I'm sure there's going to be more to come as well.
I was saying to Mark Lawrenson last night about how good it's been to see the legends get on board as fans, and we talked about it before. You work alongside us, but it's been lovely to see your smiles back and the wide eyes of last season, and just how good this team are to watch now.
Well, ultimately, it makes our job a lot easier. I mean, we don't want to come on the club channel and have to slaughter players or degrade players, which we don't actually do, but when they're winning and when they're playing the way that they're playing, it's just a joy to behold, and it's an easy thing to do, to make nice comments and commentate on the game as well. Sometimes I maybe not get too overexcited, but that's just the nature of our background. We were never really brought up to be that way with when we were playing for Liverpool. But this side is certainly an exceptional talent and an exceptional ability, and let's hope that this is just the start and it's not just the one-off. Because this team has the capability of going on and being one of the great teams of Liverpool's history.
I was just going to ask you about that finally for this little slot now, because those great teams always want to retain a trophy, don't they? That's the mark of great teams, and they've already become a great team. But what will that appetite be like once the bad heads subside amongst the players? Will they be already talking about next season?
Well, it's such a hard thing to do, Pete. I don't think I managed to do it when I was 8 years at Liverpool, and we won it, I think, 4 times in that decade. So it's not an easy thing to do. I always remember getting phone calls at the beginning of the season after we had finished second last year to Manchester City. I'm getting phone calls from everybody and nobody thinking that Liverpool have blown the chance and they're going to fall by the wayside, they're going to collapse. And I rubbish that, because the quality that they have within this team and the capability of going on and being dominant, I think is fantastic. I think it's great. If they can keep the manager, which they obviously have, they've signed a long-term contract, keep the players, add maybe 1 or 2, which I'm sure they will do, I think there's a possibility to go an awful long way this team.
Let's hope he's right. We're going to stay where we are, because there's nowhere we'd rather be at the moment to look back on the memories of the season just gone by, and we'll be back and forth throughout the show with you as well, Mark, in the next hour or so.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, time for a short break. Much more to come, including the thoughts of the manager, Jurgen Klopp. We're back soon.
LFC Trending is your weekly stop for all the freshest and most popular content across Liverpool Football Club's online and social platforms. With exclusive features and stories from around the club, to action and reaction from the first team, women and academy sides. Trending is the only place for your Reds roundup over the past 7 days. That's LFC Trending, new episodes every Thursday night, only on LFCTV.
Welcome back to the show. More from Jason to come shortly, but now to the man of the moment. Earlier today, Pete caught up with Jurgen Klopp to get his thoughts on this very special achievement.
Let's start this the right way. Jurgen Klopp, the manager of the Premier League champions Liverpool. How do you feel right now, Jurgen?
Good, pretty good. Honestly, it's still not settled. Still not really got it, but it feels brilliant. It was big. It was a wonderful experience. The whole ride is a wonderful experience, but especially last night, it was very special when people spoke about it and thought maybe it's better to win it against City when we play them or like on the pitch. But honestly, after the 97 points right last year, plus extension Champions League and this season, and all the years before chasing the Champions League spot, and always think I wanted it as early as possible. Yeah. So I was completely fine with last night, and a nice little side story that Christian Pulisic has had his hand in it with a really good, nice goal.
How nice was it that you were all together last night? I'm not sure how much of a part you played in making sure that thing happened, but a small intimate group, your players, your staff, all able to enjoy that moment together.
Look, so many people would have deserved it to be part of this last night. So many more people than there were last night. But we had to make decisions, like we all have to make decisions. The decision was everybody who was at Melwood in a moment with us every day, got tested twice, can be there. No other people. So we did it without families, of course. We did it with, even when they are for sure not, they don't have the virus as well. So we did it without them. We did it without anybody. It was just the team and the stuff around. But that was the minimum we had to do. I cannot imagine how it would have been if we would have been all alone at home. Yes, probably with our families, but still kind of alone, not with the players together. How that would have felt. And so it was perfect. It was perfectly organized. It was nobody had long time to organize it. Obviously, we decided that we will do it after the game against Palace. We will give it a try, and so it was really. It was big. It was a big emotional moment. Final whistle was a big moment.
Was it the kind of night where you would speak to the players, or did you just want to see them celebrate, smile, laugh together?
I think it would have been appropriate to speak, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. I realized when it started a little bit with the Sky interview, when the tears came up, then I spoke to Ulla. I had no chance to say a word. I just cried, and then when I would have spoken to the players, they wouldn't understand me. So it was not the right moment to do. I have enough opportunities to tell the boys what I think about them and how thankful I am and how much I appreciate the effort they put in, the determination, desire, everything.
Anybody you speak to who's won the First Division Championship before say it's the hardest competition to win. You know, the consistency, the relentlessness that you've shown again this year, but you've done it quicker than anybody in double quick time with the break in between as well. The achievement that you sit on now is just absolutely incredible.
It is, and that's what I obviously realized last night as well. So 2:30 roundabout, I was in bed and couldn't sleep. Then everything goes through your mind, and I honestly, I know football fans are like this and say now Liverpool is the best team in the world. I'm not interested in this competition, really not. But I don't think it's possible for any other team in the world to be 20 odd points ahead of Manchester City in a competition like this. Now people say maybe the league is not that competitive this year. Yeah, play it once. Try it. Play against Chelsea, play against all the others, play against Leicester, Burnley, Norwich, Southampton, whatever, play them and win consistently. That's so incredibly difficult. If I would have an explanation for it, 100%, I should probably write a book about it, but I don't have. It's just a mix of skill and attitude and the absolute understanding of the needs of this club and the supporters. That's what this team is. They understand 100%. I thought a lot about what we did in the last few years, and I think one of the most important things I said, I had no idea that it is this important when I said it, was we have to write our own story and create our own history, because that's what was necessary, and that's what these boys did now. And I think that really, this is an active thing. We created our own story and history, and didn't try to do what our wonderful dads and grandfathers did with this club, and that gave us the opportunity to feel free enough to do what the boys did. And so I'm really, really happy for them, because they were legends before that in my mind, but now they are real legends, and that's nice.
It's a big weight of expectation though, isn't it? I remember when Kenny took the job second time around, and he spoke about the expectation being almost as big as the job, because Liverpool has this history, doesn't it? But the fact that you've managed to rewrite it almost makes the achievement even bigger.
Yeah, but probably it's not a fair competition. So with comparing with other managers who tried it before me, because probably it was just the right time. I can imagine when Kenny came in the second time, I watched this documentary, and I knew obviously about his career, but not that much in detail. And I watched his documentary, and so pretty much like player winning everything, being the best player ever for Liverpool, and then becoming manager and being that successful, unbelievable. Going through what he had to go through, all that stuff, it's 100% clear when he came the second time that the expectations will not only be big because of the history of the club, but because of its own history. That you think Ken Douglas walks in the door and here we go again. And he's a really good example how successful you can be and how humble you can stay. So a wonderful role model. He texted messages last night, and it's really so nice to have these players around. I said last night, and I really mean it. This is really built on the soul of these players, what they did at Liverpool, because of the iconic managers we had in this club. We should not forget that the main weight is carried by the players on the pitch, and there were so many great players here. They won everything, like Graham Souness and Kenny and this generation, Alan Hansen, all these guys, what they all won. But then later, what Stevie had to carry, I cannot imagine.
We talk a lot about legends, don't we? I think probably for most people's money, that's been one of your biggest achievements, is the team is the star now. It's not about individuals anymore.
It is, but these individuals make a team. It is about individuals. We cannot underestimate how influential they all are, and I will never do. But to be really influential, you have to realize and to live the team. That means what bring you in? What do you bring in? And when last night, when we sat together, I think I was sat together with Trent, and I thought, actually, if you would give me now a list of 5 million players, and I would love to pick these 25, 30 boys and say, I want to do it with them, because they are so incredibly close, because they understand how important it is to be self-confident on a high level, but not overly confident that you think you are more important than others, because without the others, we are nothing. Absolutely. This game shows that every day, and that's what I love so much about this game, that it keeps us humble. This game keeps us humble and helps us understanding life in the best way. Football was the best teacher for me, for life always, because yes, people need me even when I was a player, but they don't need me so much that they cannot exist without me, and that gave me the freedom to be who I am.
We could pick out so many individuals, couldn't we? Trent being one of them at 21, his achievements are just off the scale, but your captain has just been a leader on and off the pitch, hasn't he? You've got so many leaders in that dressing room, but how special a person is he, and how pleased are you for him to have achieved what he
I think to understand the story of Jordan Henderson, you cannot underestimate and should not forget that he had the most difficult job in world football. Becoming captain after Steven Gerrard, I would have had in this age no skill to do so, because it's not about who you are, it's about who the other one was, and why is Stevie not here anymore. So you cannot just step in and say, so we do it now like this or like that, and how he dealt with that from the first day I met him, and he was already obviously skipper for half a year or so. Yes, it was exceptional, and how he grew in that role, and how, of course, the way we play football helped him to be himself on the pitch 100%. So that all came together, and I couldn't respect him no more.
Probably the only thing you would change at the moment is to have this place full, for you to be able to celebrate with the fans. You spoke about it still being important to have a parade when the time is right and when it's safe to do so. Is that something that's still strong in your mind?
I have a dream of that, honestly. It's like that. So for me, it's whenever it's possible to do so. We just should say in 4 weeks after game X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, in whichever situation we are, winning or losing, hopefully not losing, but in whatever situation, fighting for the Champions League or for the title or whatever, we should give ourselves the opportunity to do so. Tell the people 4 or 5 weeks before, so here it will be, and then we decide how good it will be. People from all over the world usually will play a final the night before, or play a game the night before, and the next day is the parade, so nobody can really plan it. It's really difficult. Bam, bam, bam. A lot of people who watch the game cannot make it to the parade. This time, whoever can sleep in a tent can come here and be together with us. With all my power in this club, I will try to make it happen. Not sure if I can, but I will try everything to make it happen.
What do they mean to you, the city, the people now, if you had to sum them up?
It's like I said before, this city is obviously music and football, and both things mean emotion. So that's what both teams unites, and it's just great. It's just great to do it for these people, because you know how much it means to them. Everybody I met now, when I came here in the car park, the staff gave applause. I know what it means to them, and I know how hard it is not to celebrate it together. But on the other side, nobody ever can tell these kind of stories from winning a title. Even now in this city, we have to stay disciplined. That's how it is. But there are so many ways to celebrate the things with your families and stuff like that, on phones and stuff like that. So, and we know there will be something in the future where we can look at. These people deserve it so much, and I think how it always is, success in football lifts the mood in the city always. And I hope we can use that for the better for all parts which are necessary for this city.
An interview you could just listen to over and over again. You hang on every word he had to say. How important has it been, and within his success, Jason, that he has understood the city, the football club, and embraced the history of it? Because some previous managers have sort of steered away from that, but he's learnt about the football club and taken it on board. You heard him talk about Suey and Hansen and some of the greats.
I think sometimes it can be quite easy to come into a football club and know the history and want to be a certain character towards that. Like, kind of, but you can't kid the fans. He is actually genuine when he talks. I mean, we've just listened to him there for 13 minutes. He was captivating. He's not just a fantastic, unbelievable football manager. He's an unbelievable human being. You know, how he lives his life, how he thinks, you know, and what he believes in. But he's honest with it, you know, about the fans. He's honest, and that's what you get. And, you know, I think as football managers, I'm a big believer that their personality comes out in their team and how they play. And you just look at the way we are, you know, we're 100 mile an hour, we're honest, we're a team that never gives up, we're a team that want to give the fans something back, and that's everything that his personality is. You know, I remember we just seen him there, you know, asking the crowd to cheer the team on. Remember when it was West Brom and he went to the crowd and it was a 2-2 draw and everyone went, what is he doing? He got lambasted for it in the media, but he knew he needed the support, he knew he needed their help, you know, to move the club forward. He knew the players needed their help. He asked the fans to stay on the 80th minute. Why are you going home on the 80th minute? We need you for the last 15 minutes of the game. We need you. You know, we might be 1-0 down to get us back in the game, to get a winner, whatever it may be. And everyone sort of stepped back and went, he's right. And everyone stayed to that 95th, 96th minute. And it you know, he's embraced everything. He's used everything. And it's all come together to produce what we're seeing today. And it hasn't come overnight. It's been over a 4.5-year period, and we're bearing the fruits of that now. I was
going to say that, for me, it is one of the biggest things of all this. It hasn't been a one-season wonder, an overnight success. There was the League Cup final defeat, Europa League final defeat, then we get in the top 4, then there's a Champions League final defeat, there's near misses in the league. This is a work in progress, and this isn't the end of it either.
No, listen. He just spoke about all the players individually there when Pete asked him there's no superstars, and he was quick to point out they're all superstars and they're all individuals and they all add something. You can go out and you can buy the best players in the world. You can go out and buy a team like that, but it doesn't guarantee you success. You know, you can't buy a team spirit. You can't buy a camaraderie. It's got to be made. It's got to be created, and that's got to come from you. The players have to believe in you, believe in your philosophy, believe in how you want to do things. And once you've got them all on board, I've played for managers like that. You want to give them everything, but the biggest thing he has, this relationship with the players, is his honesty. If he leaves you out, you know that you're still part of the process. You're still part of the team. You know, it's not all about. Sometimes you can feel like last night there's going to be players who were on the bench who would have felt out of it. He would have made sure they embraced it, and it was a squad. And having that team together last night, that squad together last night, was so valuable to him, because they're all part of the family. They're all part of what is happening.
It's a family that's got a real hunger to it as well. They just want more and more success. OK, time for another break. When we come back, we'll hear from the skipper, John Henderson. It's coming soon. Welcome back to the show. The Reds are champions of Europe, the champions of the world, and now England. Jordan Henderson is the man who will take the honour of lifting the Premier League trophy aloft in the coming weeks. Shortly after the final whistle last night, I spoke to the Liverpool captain. Jordan, congratulations, Premier League winner. How does that feel?
Yeah, mate, obviously amazing. It's hard to describe, to be honest. But yeah, after the final whistle, just amazing feeling again, you know, especially just to spend it with all the lads and the staff. And to finally get over the line is a relief, but also an amazing feeling.
How important was that for you to be able to enjoy that moment together? Because you've worked so hard for it and overcome so many things to get to this point.
Yeah, it definitely was important for us to be together, I think, in this moment. Obviously, we didn't know whether we were going to watch the game together and stuff like that. So, but I felt like if something did happen where City dropped points and we did win, I felt as though it was right to be together. And thankfully we were tonight, and we all can celebrate together and went through that moment of the final whistle goal.
Was there a point through the course of the season, a game where you thought, right, that could be the moment, that could be the key moment? Do you look back at a certain game, you think that could have been the pivotal point?
Yeah, listen, I know you're probably bored of me of seeing, next game is the focus and that's all we focus on. But honestly, that is the truth, you know, and that was the truth then, and it always will be. You know, the focus is so narrow in terms of you just want to concentrate on each game, because that's why we're so successful last year, and that's why each game we've been able to be so consistent. But that wasn't something that I was just saying, or the lads were just saying in front of the cameras. That was the truth, you know. We didn't want to think about 4, 5, 10, 15 games down the line, because you can't change that. All you can change is the next game. And like I said, I felt as though we'd done that so far throughout the season really well. And now is another challenge to be able to do it from now till the end of the season.
What will it mean to you to lift that trophy? Because it's been 30 years, 3 decades since a Liverpool player has lifted the league title. You know, you weren't quite born then. It's a huge amount of time. It's a huge honour that you now have upon you.
A lot. I've been close last year, obviously very close. 2014, close again. Obviously both lost out to City. So yeah, this does feel really special for me personally. But also I'm so happy for my teammates, for the fans, for the club in a whole, because they've been waiting so long for this Premier League title. And I'm just so proud to be a part of it for this football club and these group of lads. You know, they deserve it. And how hard they work every single day in training. What we've done over the past couple of seasons, I felt we've deserved to win Champions League, we've deserved to win Super Cup, World Club Championship, and now Premier League. And now it's about keeping that going, staying hungry and keep wanting more. And I've got no doubt that the players at this football club will want to do that.
What a guy, what a leader. His final words that kind of summed up what he's brought to the team. It's just relentless. He's already talking about wanting to win more, keep this going. This isn't the end for him. He just wants to drive them on to more success.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal story. And, you know, I got asked a question. I was doing a Zoom in lockdown for somebody, and they said, what would be a fitting moment for Liverpool to actually win the title? I was given a few options, and I just went, no, I'd love Jordan Henderson to score the winner against Manchester City to lift it. It would have been fitting. And, you know, I looked, Jurgen Klopp's first game, Tottenham, I think there was only 3 or 4 players who played that day are still there. Only Jordan Henderson played that game, but he was around the football club, obviously. But just before that, well, Brendan was here, there was talk of him obviously leaving the club in a swap deal for, I think, Clint Dempsey, wasn't it? And he just went, no, I want to fight for my position. And then he got into the team, and then he had to take over Stephen's boots as captain, and took a lot of criticism. And, you know, when it wasn't going too well in the early days, he took a lot of criticism, Jordan Henderson, but he was resilient, and he knew that he could make it. He knew that he could be a success at this football club, and that just shows the determination and the character of the person. And here he is now, captaining them to the Premier League title, Champions League, World Club winners. You know, it doesn't get any better of him, and you know, rightfully, I always think it's a generational thing when we look back and think, who are the greatest captains, who was the greatest team, Liverpool team has been, is it 89, is it whatever it may be, and we're quite generational and think, oh, well, Kenny's my favourite player, and the modern generation will say Stephen. He should rightly go down as one of the greatest captains this football club's ever had, because of the adversity he's been through, but also the success he's brought to this football club. And it was only just before lockdown, when he was injured, we noticed how important he is as a leader. When we had that little bit of a dodgy spell, we lost a couple of games, didn't we? Went out the Champions League. He is so important to this football club.
You've played with so many different players over your career. I just wonder what you make of the strength of character that he's shown, because, you know, he's the one guy in that squad who's missed out on the title twice in the final stage of the season whilst at Anfield. You know, 2014 by a couple of points, last season by 1 point, having lost 1 game. Some players wouldn't bounce back from that, some would crumble, but he's been driven by it.
Yeah, but there's a real belief, and that goes back down to the manager. You know, it's all right nearly doing it. You know, I said it today in an interview, it's all right, like, almost winning the Premier League, but, you know, by default kind of thing. They've really put an honest challenge in every season, not every season, but certainly last season, and they come so close. But winning the Champions League obviously has helped them as well, you know, ease that pain. But they started this season as real contenders to Manchester City, and he knew that. But also, I think, having that kind of character around the dressing room has been so influential for so many of the younger players, not just in the team, but the academy players coming through, seeing how he lives his life, how he trains. There's him, Van Dijk, Milner, Lallana. They're all of the same character, they're all cut in the same cloth. Top professionals who live, breathe, and they have to. This modern day footballer has to live and breathe football to be in this position, and if you don't win things. And they're great role models, fantastic role models for the younger players, likes of Trent, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones. All these younger lads have really learned from the likes of Jordan Henderson. He's a proper captain.
Yeah, there'll be, I think, a few more warmly anticipated sights than that of Jordan lifting the trophy in the coming weeks when it does happen. OK, back to Anfield now once again to get more from Pete and Gary Gillespie.
Welcome back to Anfield, and we've got Gary Gillespie with us, a former title winner himself, of course, multiple times as a Liverpool player, and of course he has enjoyed some of these moments with us as well, and he's marvelled after some of the players that we've seen in the montages throughout the day today. The one thing that you never get with winning sides is if you don't have that togetherness in the dressing room, you can't achieve anything, can you?
I think when you look, a good team or a great team will always beat a good or a great side. But in saying that, I mean, you have to have that camaraderie within the dressing room. You have to have that kinsmanship. And I think this team have got it in abundance. And that starts at the top, really, from the manager down. And I think he realises and understands that, gets that totally. And it was lovely to see them last night after you know the victory, when we won it, that they were all celebrating together, and that's the way it should be. You should always celebrate winning together, and you know, obviously in defeat you console each other. And as I say, all the great sides, all the great sporting sides, not just football, but all the great sporting sides have camaraderie within the dressing room. And as I say, this team have got it in abundance.
Leaders and characters as well.
Characters as well, absolutely, big characters. You know, I mean, I've been here since, I've been commentating since Jordan Henderson came to this football club. Now, if you had said, I don't know what it was, 7, 8 years ago, maybe even longer than that, Jordan Henderson was going to be the player and the leader that he has become, you know, people would have questioned you. But that just shows you the character of that guy. Unbelievable character, unbelievable ability as well, and he'll go down as one of the great Liverpool captains.
The story that's traded so often, isn't it, about him almost going to Fulham. I remember him being out of the team under Brendan Rodgers, and you know, players are often a little bit reserved in praising the manager, but he praised Brendan Rodgers at the time because he said he's told me what I need to do to get back in the team again, and that was an early sign of just how good his attitude was as a professional.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in this game, throughout the course of your career, and it goes back to like even my day, you're going to have ups and you're going to have downs, you're going to have your knocks, but you've got to bounce back and try and get on with it, and Jordan Henderson is a prime example of that. You know, I think his performance the other night, you know, maybe goes overshadowed a little bit because of like the thrills and the spills that we see the goals going in, but his ability to close people down in the middle of the park, win balls in good areas of the park and start attacks from these good areas is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So, you know, he deserves everything he gets, to be honest with you. All the accolades that come his way, he thoroughly deserves them.
Yeah. We're at Anfield. We're going to be back a little bit later on. A word for the groundsmen and the staff that have been inside this stadium all throughout the day, because as you know, many of them will have had late nights themselves, but the job still goes on for the guy who was spraying the ball to sanitise it, to get it back into play in the Crystal Palace game. He's got his headphones on and he's been mowing what is probably more a snooker table than a pitch throughout the day as well today. So they've been working hard. It's been a great day here at Anfield. We're back one more time with Gary Gillespie before the end of the show.
Great stuff, guys. Time for another break. And to take us there, we hear from a man now who is a league winner on both sides of Hadrian's Wall, Virgil van Dijk.
Such a good feeling, you know. We've worked so hard already this season, and we're not finished yet, of course, but, you know, it's been a dream come true for all of us already. For me personally as well, you know, coming to the club, winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League in you know, 2.5 seasons that I've been at the club is just, you know, magnificent personally, and a dream come true, and obviously something that I always hoped for when I joined Liverpool, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to be part of this group. It's amazing also to be with these kind of players, the manager, the staff, the whole, you know, Melwood, all the people that are looking after us, and it's everyone has to feel like a champion as well, who's part of us, and including the fans, of course. To be here as a European, a world champion, and the Premier League champion is incredible, and want me to strive for more as well. So it's just something that obviously every player hopes for if you know, if they make a step to a different club, you know, to be achieving great things, proving doubters wrong. With this group of players, just enjoy the game as well, and it's just fantastic to see the work we put in, day out, the work we, you know, want to put in as well. Everyone wants to achieve great things, and obviously there's always room for improvement, but this group of players is special, and I'm just very proud to be part of it. I come across a lot of people that obviously are Liverpool fans, and they keep reminding me how, you know, massive it is, but you don't really need to, because it's something that I definitely understand. I definitely understand before I joined the club. I definitely understand that, you know, it's been such a weight, and obviously with the past, the things that happened, you know, it would always haunt you a little bit. And for me, I would just join the club, and I would try and achieve so many things and compete on every level. I wish, obviously, we could celebrate it right now. It would have been absolutely crazy altogether, but we have to deal with it. And I think, you know, in every Liverpool household, you know, just enjoy it with your family and friends, and the time will come, I think, whenever that is. But, you know, we always think about you, and this one is definitely for you.
LFC Trending is your weekly stop for all the freshest and most popular contents across Liverpool Football Club's online and social platforms. With exclusive features and stories from around the club,
Dog.
to action and reaction from the first team, women and academy sides. Trending is the only place for your Reds roundup over the past 7 days. That's LFC Trending, new episodes every Thursday night, only on LFCTV.
Welcome back. Now, Liverpool players past and present have been revelling in last night's title triumph. Earlier on, Pete caught up with one of our former favourites, Robbie Fowler.
Well, Robbie, in your remit now as a Liverpool fan, how happy are you for this group of players?
You know, I'm absolutely delighted. I know it's probably all the, all the cliches I can use, but watching the game last night, thinking Man City would not win. Thinking Man City would win. So you sort of envisage maybe Liverpool sort of waiting for the next game to actually, let yourself go. But I mean, it's just an incredible feeling. It really is. I know you get players of the past, maybe a little bit subdued because of what you've achieved. But look, I think you've just hit the nail on the head. I'm a Liverpool fan, and I always want what's best for this club, and that means winning the Premier League and winning as much as they can. And I'm absolutely delighted. I really am. It was an emotional feeling last night.
And as a coach and a manager, how good have they been to win it faster than anybody has done before? The amount of goals they've scored, the amount of clean sheets they've kept.
I think they have. I mean, you can use as many superlatives as you can about the team. I think the fact of the matter is, look, last year we were really, really close, with 97 points, finishing second. So you knew how good they were, and you knew sort of how good Man City was. Man City is still a good team. They really are. And for Liverpool to finish so far ahead of these and to win the Premier League with seven games to go, I mean, it's frightening. I mean, I think it's absurd when you think of how good City are and Liverpool are title winners. They've showed sort of the strength of character and the consistency to do that over the years has been, I mean, it's been outstanding. It really has.
And just finally on the manager, again, from somebody that wants to emulate his style, in your own career now as a boss, what are your thoughts on him?
I love him, honestly. That's a simple answer. I've been incredibly fortunate that I've had a nickname, of God over the years, and that comes from the Liverpool fans. And I think everything, I've got now is because of Liverpool, because of the fans, and it means so much to me. But sitting here or standing here talking about Jürgen and obviously Liverpool as Premier League winners because of him. I mean, what's the German word for God? Is it Gott? Gott, is it? He's my God. That's what he is.
Are you going to hand over the nickname to him now?
No, he can be the German one. So he's got. He's got. I want to have mine, Pete. I can still have mine. He can be the German equivalent. It's brilliant. But honestly, we all love him, don't we? We all love him. What he's done to this club is exceptional.
Mein Gott, high praise indeed. Yeah. That's the big man has spoken. Fantastic.
Do you think he'd want my nickname?
Does Jürgen want your name? I don't want the German version.
Trigger.
Is.
You can have mine.
Der Trigger. Robbie, speaking as a fan, there, we look at it from a fan's point of view. It's been quite a journey. This has been a long time coming, and I guess people won't have lost hope along the way, but it's probably been tested at times. People's patience. Because at times it did look like it may never come to get to this point again.
From the 30 years?
Yeah,
of course there's been many times when we look back and, the previous owners, how they went about running the football club and, the instability of the managers we've had, chopping and changing, coming so close a couple of times, but did we really feel it was built on solid foundations? Probably not. But then all of a sudden, Jürgen walks through the door and, it's been a process for him as well. I mentioned, his first game against Tottenham, there was only 3 players on that pitch, Lallana, Milner and Divock Origi, who started that game, that are still at the football club. So it's evolved, the team, the squad has evolved. But also he's learnt as well that, from his German days, when his first full season here, we got to January having done so well, and then went, I think, 1 win in 10 games. So he just knew that he'd flogged the players too hard, and you couldn't do that in the Premier League. It was too intense, the pressure was too much. So he learnt as well, and it was a learning curve for him. And he's balanced it out over the last 2 years to give us an ideal opportunity, and then foundations have been solid. And he's took us to, you know, Europa League finals, Champions League finals, twice, you know, once winners, and now the title. It's just been a phenomenal ride. It's been an emotional roller coaster, but we've had more highs than lows, I can tell you.
Yeah, and the fans have certainly bought into what he's been preaching, and the supporters have been faithfully flocking to Anfield through the barren years up until this point, and finally they have been rewarded for their loyalty. We can head back to the stadium one last time now to join Pete and Gary.
Welcome back to Anfield. A 24 hours or so that's changed lives, really. Lots of people in their early 30s and 40s don't remember Liverpool winning a title. Gary Gillespie was in that side last time around. My little boy was putting his flag up on the window when I left this morning, and it gave me a little bit of a tear, because I thought, I only just remember Liverpool winning titles, and you know, this is the next generation now that know exactly how that feels, and it's been such a long wait for the fans, Gary.
Well, as I say, it's 30 years, 3 decades, so there's a lot of supporters have not seen the glory days, and when you think that Liverpool dominated probably from early 70s right through to the 80s and obviously 1990, it just seems ridiculous that it's been so long that we've been without that league title, and let's face it, it was the holy grail for us, and it's in the bag now, and let everybody celebrate.
What's your feelings on the parade? Because again, the manager said earlier on that, you know, it's his promise to the fans that when it's safe to do so, there will be a parade. Will it still feel as special as June, the 1st and 2nd last year?
I think it will. I think it's gut-wrenching that, you know, you don't have the fans to be able to celebrate what has been like a fantastic achievement, and that's what it has been, a fantastic achievement, and it is saddened a little bit because the fans can't obviously appreciate and celebrate. But when it is safe to do so, I don't think it'll make any difference whatsoever, to be honest with you. I think there'll still be, what was it, 750,000 to 1 million people we saw in the Champions League. I'd be surprised if it's anything less than that, to be quite honest with you. I think it'll be just the same. But it has to be done at the right time and in the right manner. And that's one thing that Liverpool Football Club have always been good about. They've always done things in the right manner and at the right time as well. And I'm sure it'll be a wonderful success, and I'm sure everybody will join in and celebrate as they should do.
Maybe other clubs would have decided that it wasn't right with the timing, and maybe the time that will have lapsed between them winning it and it being safe to do so. But that's another big win, isn't it? The fact that the players and the manager, they get this group of supporters. Yeah. They understand what makes us tick, don't they?
Well, I think from day one, like Jurgen walked through the doors, I think he got the club straight away, didn't he? And I think the fact that he got it, he's instilled that into the players, and I think they obviously understand it as well. And it's vitally important, I think, that you do that, because there is an affinity with the football club and the supporters. And long may that continue. I can't see it ever ending, to be quite honest. We had it in our day, and certainly they've got it at this moment in time, and it's lovely to see. And as I say, let's hope they're able to celebrate and enjoy themselves, because they thoroughly deserve it. 30 years is a heck of a long time.
Not off. I'd love to take Gary the Albert now and buy him a pint of stout or something like that, but it might have to be a glass of wine at social distance in his backyard. He doesn't know about the invite that he's just given us back to his house. But great to see you, Gary.
Cheers, Pete.
And
thanks very
it's
much.
Great that you could share it with us as well. Back to you guys in HQ.
Wait till we come knocking on his door as well. Just to wrap things up then, Jason, what I like about this, it doesn't feel like this is the end point. It feels like there's still more to come from this group. Yeah,
we obviously need to celebrate and enjoy it, but you've got to think, like, the work starts now. You know, Jurgen's got a massive job in the sense of he's got to keep that hunger now. You know, it's what we've wanted for so long, the Holy Grail, isn't it? We've managed to get there, we've got it. We are champions, the Premier League champions. But, you know, I always thought Pep's second win was his biggest, because to keep that desire and that hungry just shows what kind of a manager he is. And it'll be a test for the boys, because they've done so well and they've achieved so much. But like I said, it starts now, because we kind of want to be greedy. We want it again, don't we?
We certainly do. Jason, there is no one I would rather have shared this moment with.
Thanks,
mate. It's been an absolute pleasure
to
steer us home on this momentous of days.
Same for me.
Excellent. That is us out of time on this show for now, although the celebrations of this special moment will continue here on LFCTV in the coming days and weeks. It has been quite the journey to get to this point. It's taken 30 years. 3 decades have been and gone. Football-mad kids have become football-following mums and dads. Much-loved family members have been sadly lost along the way for some. It hasn't always been easy, be it on or off the pitch. There were times when belief will have been tested. Now, though, the faith has been rewarded. Liverpool are the champions for a 19th time. Goodbye.
I came from a mining family. My father was a miner. It was either going down the pits or being a footballer. Sunderland had turned me down because I was too small, and then Sunderland came back again, but I'd promised to come down to Liverpool. I think certainly the army stood me in good stead. At the end of the day, I must take a lot of the credit. We won the championship in 46-7. We had a good side and everything went so well. I can't remember any real one selfish one coming in and trying to rule the roost. The club's always been bigger than the individual. Bill decided to retire. I never applied for the job. It came at us just overnight, and I thought, well, I'd better give it a go. Football is about winning. You've got to entertain too, but it's about winning. I've been particularly lucky in